So a service that allows you to pay your rent, mortgage, taxes, and pretty much anything else you can imagine on a credit card in order to earn you fat stacks of credit card reward points. Sounds a little too good to be true, right? Well, in this video, we'll be diving deep into a service called Plastiq, which promises to do just that. We're gonna talk about how it works, we're gonna talk about how they are making money from you, and we're gonna be diving deep into the fine print, looking under the surface and showing you the things that they don't really want you to see. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Do me a quick favor, smack that like button and let me know in the comments below for the YouTube algorithm, what is your favorite candle scent? I'm very curious to hear. 'Tis the season to burn some candles, so let me know down there what your favorite candle scent is and let's hop into the video. So essentially, Plastiq is a service that allows you to take your credit card and use it to spend on things that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to use a credit card for. So things, again, like I said, like paying your rent, paying your mortgage, paying your taxes, things along these lines. And essentially how it does that is it takes your credit card and basically transfers your payment into an ACH transfer, into a wire transfer, or into a check, which is then used to pay the person who you need to be paying. In addition to paying things like your rent and your mortgage, you can also pay your utilities, your phone bill, and really anything that you pay with a bank transfer or check. However, you can't use this to convert your credit card into Bitcoin, but there are plenty of services out there that will allow you to buy Bitcoin on your credit card. Although I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, I wouldn't say that's a solid financial decision. You are still able to do that through other services out there. And just to give you guys some context of how big Plastiq actually is, in 2019, they processed over $2 billion in transactions. So these guys have been around for a little bit. They built quite an established company, and there are quite a lot of people out there using Plastiq to earn some sweet, sweet credit card rewards. But at what cost, okay? So there is a 2.85% fee when you use Plastiq with a credit card. Now, this fee has continued to go up over time. I remember back in the day, we were looking at a much lower fee, but over time that fee has continued to increase to where we're at now at 2.85%. Now, right off the bat there, you can see that if you're earning 2.85%, or if you're paying 2.85% rather, and you have to be earning more than that with your credit card to make this actually make sense. And so how do you do that? Well, really the practical use case for Plastiq is for hitting sign-up bonuses, okay? When people are talking about using Plastiq, they're talking about doing so to hit sign-up bonuses. So these are like when you have a new credit card and they say spend $3,000 in the first 90 days and we'll give you $500 or something along those lines, okay? That is where these things come into play. That's where these things are useful because in those situations, you can be earning more in cash than you are spending to pay the fee to use Plastiq, essentially. So that's the practical use case that most people will be talking about, but there's a little bit more to be said there, okay? So that's the credit card side of things. With the debit card side of things, nobody really cares about that, but there's only a 1% fee with debit cards, but with debit cards, you're not gonna be getting nearly the cash back you would with credit cards, so we'll forget about debit cards. We don't even talk about those. But now let's dive into the fine prints, okay? Because there is some fine print that you're gonna wanna be aware of if you do decide to use Plastiq. And the main thing to note here, folks, is that not all cards are created equal. And this is going to be a big hurdle for people that are trying to use Plastiq to do things like hit sign-up bonuses or just earn credit card rewards in general. And when I say not all cards are created equal, what I'm talking about is that they kind of have a breakdown of which cards can be used for which things, and it's kind of confusing. They have a whole big chart that you can look at where it's like, if you have an American Express card, you can use it for this, but not that, and that, but not this. And so they kind of have pretty strict rules about which cards can be used for which things. And to spare you the trouble of having to like piece through that chart to try to find like which things are where, I'm just gonna give you kind of the rundown of the important ones that you need to know and the ones that might prevent you from actually getting practical use from Plastiq. So hurdle number one is that Visa and American Express cards cannot be used to pay a mortgage, okay? So if you're trying to pay your mortgage with Plastiq, can't do it with Visa, can't do it with American Express, you're pretty much limited to just MasterCard for that. Additionally, American Express cards cannot be used to pay your phone bill or your internet bill, so if you were trying to do that, you're not going to be allowed to do that with American Express. Next thing you can't do is you cannot use Capital One with Plastiq at all. There is a zero tolerance policy for Capital One, so no Capital One cards allowed. Very similar thing with US Bank, except with US Bank, you just can't use Plastiq to pay loans. So you cannot use Plastiq with US Bank to pay your mortgage or your auto loan or your student loan or any kind of loan, because basically they just don't want, US Bank is not a fan of using debt to pay debt because credit card is debt and mortgage is debt. So debt to pay debt is just thumbs down for US Bank. So cannot do that, but those are the main hurdles that you're gonna wanna watch out for when it comes to using Plastiq. Anything else is generally going to be fair game, but again, I would say check that table just to make sure. Again, it's a little bit much, but before you end up signing up for this thing and realizing it doesn't do what you want it to do, make sure you check that table out. But now let's spill the tea, okay, folks? This is what you came for. This is what you gotta know when it comes to Plastiq, okay? And that is that their customer reviews are not all that great, to say the best, okay? We're looking at a solid 1.17 out of 5 on the Better Business Bureau, which lands them a square A+ in the ratings because those don't have anything to do with reviews. And in general, that low review is due to two things. It's due to their customer service, and it's due to the payments not being processed on time. Okay, so if you're trying to pay your mortgage with Plastiq, it's kind of important that that payment goes through on time, because if it doesn't, it's not gonna be great for your credit. It's probably gonna hit you with some fees, and you're not going to want to be paying your mortgage late, your rent late, really anything late. So in addition to that, you've got pretty subpar customer service from what I can tell from these reviews. So those are going to be the two main things that you're going to want to watch out for with Plastiq. Now, fortunately, they do have a safeguard in place for the late fees. So if you do end up having a payment go through late, okay, so say you use Plastiq to pay your mortgage, the payment ends up going through late, okay? What Plastiq's gonna do is they are going to cover any late payment fees that you are assessed. However, if there is a problem on your credit report, okay, because if you pay your mortgage late, you get a mark on your credit report that says there was a late payment here, that is not going to be something that Plastiq's really gonna help you out with, okay? Because if it's their fault that it's late, they'll pay the fee, but you are still going to have to deal with that remark on your credit report yourself, whether you try to get it removed, whether you just deal with it, that is going to be a hassle for you for sure. Next thing, when it comes to customer service, the main issue that people have with them is that there is no phone number. Okay? You cannot call Plastiq, and as a company that deals with financial transactions that are pretty important to you, okay, like you want to make sure that your rent is paid on time, you want to make sure that your bills are paid on time, it's kind of rough that you can't just call these guys up, okay? They've got a chat feature on their website, or they've got an email address, but in general, a lot of the times you are going to want to call up one of these companies and just like figure out what's going on, get to the bottom of something quickly, rather than just like going back and forth via email for days on end while you've got a late payment outstanding. So those are kind of the main qualms people have with Plastiq. And so if you're able to get past those, then I think this could be a decent service for you. Now, looking at Trustpilot, they've got a bit higher of a rating there, coming in at a 3.7 out of 5. So that might be a little bit more representative because you've got some good mixed in with some bad. With Better Business Bureau, it's pretty much just all bad stuff. So Trustpilot might be a little bit more representative of the company. And I feel like as a whole, they probably deserve more of like a 70% than like a 20% in terms of overall rating. But again, the two main hurdles are going to be like, if a payment comes in late, you're a little bit screwed. And then secondly, if you have to call them, you're gonna have a bad time because there is no phone number and there is not a great way to get a hold of them quickly to resolve any issues. So when it comes to me personally, would I personally use Plastiq? Maybe. I wouldn't rely on it very frequently, is what I would say. You know, if there was a particular sign-up bonus that I was going for that I was not gonna be able to hit through my normal everyday spending, I think this could be a decent way to do it. I'd probably use it to pay rent for a month or two just to get that extra spend for my sign-up bonus. But in the grand scheme of things, it's probably not going to be worth it for me personally to use going forward. But that doesn't mean that it's not worth it for you. I think in some situations, people who are really trying to churn through credit cards as fast as they can and don't have a lot of spending that they do, like normally on cards, they don't spend a lot on groceries or gas or whatever, this could be a good way for you to be able to hit these sign-up bonuses and still earn those sweet, sweet credit card rewards that we love so much. But for most people, I do not think it is necessary at all. But I do want to hear from y'all, so let me know in the comments below what you think of Plastiq after watching this video. Has your opinion changed? Is it the same? Do you have any more questions? Let me know down below. Now, the next thing you should do is click the subscribe button down below and check out this video over here where we talk about the Chime Credit Builder card. It's one of my favorite credit cards for building your credit quickly. So make sure you check that video out and I will see you over there.